Welcome to another episode of the Bimmer Podcast. I'm your host, Burr. And of course, sitting next to me, he took some time off from Roosevelt Field selling his illegal t-shirts, Nestor.
Well, we don't sell illegal thing here. Bimmer's United. Stay ready. Season opener, April 12th.
Run for the border.
Yeah, huge shout out to my boy Ryan here, S58 NY_. So thank you for coming, Ryan. Let's go.
Thank you,
We're
guys.
gonna, this is gonna be definitely a good conversation. This is definitely gonna be a good episode. Ryan, can you explain to us what was your first BMW? I know I had this question before, but obviously this is a different episode, and different person. And what was your first BMW?
So technically my first BMW was like the A90 Toyota Supra. And I think that was a lot of people's first BMWs because that car is what got me into loving BMWs, even though it's obviously not technically one.
Right.
It's a Z4 with a body kit, like everyone tells you. But I bought that car right after I think I graduated from college, and I love that thing so much. It's so light, so fast, and even stock. I was like driving
enjoying it.
loving it. It was like a rocket. And so I bought that car, started to do things to it. It was the first car I ever really modded.
Okay.
And, it was a little scary at first, but once I like really learned everything about it, that was kind of like my test dummy, learning everything.
What was your first mods? Do you remember?
My first mod was just a downpipe. Everyone was just like, oh, you get the downpipe, And then,
BMW Play School.
exactly.
Yes.
So then you get the check engine light because you don't tune it. You got to save money up first. But got the check engine light when I put a downpipe on.
Right.
And I'm like sweating, whatever. But then I'm like, you know what? Doing my research, this is whatever.
And it just became the norm. And once you understand the process, it just became simpler.
Exactly. So I was originally like a JDM guy, but that car got me into BMWs. And then after that, I had gotten an M340. So it's almost the same car, but 4 doors. And then now I have the G80.
So wait, you saying the Supra, it's almost the same car as an M340?
Basically, but it was before the M240 was really a thing. So it was, what I always told people was that it was a coupe version of the M340, but it's rear-wheel drive only. The chassis is different, obviously. It's on the Z4 chassis, which is a lot lighter.
And a lot shorter.
Exactly, a lot shorter.
So which car handled better though?
Definitely the Supra, because the chassis was...
Wait. So you're saying the Supra handled better than the sedan?
Yeah, definitely. Because the wheelbase was a lot shorter, and so it was also way lighter, and you didn't really have any body roll. On like M Performance cars, you have a lot of body roll. So that's one thing a lot of people try not to do is like go for handling and stuff, take it on the track. You can do that with like coilovers, sway bars, whatever. But the Supra handles so good.
Yeah, but one is all-wheel drive and the other one is rear-wheel drive. So how can you explain that?
I think it really depends on what you think handling is, because some people think handling is just grip. I don't think handling is grip. I think handling is just how the car feels at the limit. If you feel like you're in control at the limit, then I'd say that's a good handling car.
Which some new BMW owners, they don't realize the potential until, because most of them always want that big power. They want to feel the boost and they want to feel that pushback in the seat. But it ties into the suspension, the handling, how you can get the car to rotate. So maybe in that regards, having something that's a little bit modded with tasteful mods will help accentuate how the car handles.
Exactly.
Yeah, but so I don't see any other Supra though taking off the same way as an M340 takeoff at the track. How can you explain that? Which car is better on the track, a Supra or M340?
If you're talking about on a drag strip track, M340 100%. But
Okay.
if you're talking about you want a handling car, you're going around like a twisty track, it's got to be the Supra, because just the chassis is way better.
And as far as the B58, I know you had both, and now you have this beautiful G80, but we'll get into that in a quick moment. Which car really gave you that driver feeling?
The good driver feeling has got to be the S58. It's an M car, it's an M engine, it's tuned for that, It's tuned to be in high RPM ranges, whereas the B58, it's nice and everything, but I would say that engine is more it's an engine to please everybody. You know, you can have it in a family car, and it be reliable. It's good on gas. Like I drove that car in my M340 to Florida, made it in 2 tanks. Like
really?
that's it. Yeah, put it in eco mode because it has the flaps in the front and the grill that closes. So I made it to Florida 2 tanks of gas.
That was with the M340.
Yeah, there's just a really like well-rounded engine, that B58, but this one I think is way better for that motorsport feel that I think traditional M people are looking for.
But in general though, do you think S58 is better than B58?
I think so because it does more things. Like you can have it for handling, you can have it for drag racing. For the B58 cars, I think that's mainly like if you want to do motorsport things, it's mainly drag racing.
So, but you know, the M240, B58, and we have seen the M240 are kicking ass out there, and they making the G80s embarrassed. You know, you have one stock M240, and now you have this guy with another fast M240 in UK, if I'm not mistaken. He copied the same build as one stock. I'm sure that you know which one it is. So, and that's fast. That's also like fast B58. And you still think S58 is better?
I think for drag racing, if I was picking one car, if I had to pick between a B58 car or S58 car, it's hard to choose, but maybe I would probably lean a little more towards the B58, to be honest. And a lot of people might say like, that's crazy, but realistically speaking, like even something as basic as how much it costs, like it's easier to get into a B58
and upgraded proportionately.
Exactly.
Without the M tax.
Exactly, without the M tax. So it's easier to build that car, and I mean the monthly payments are also lower, so anybody can get into a B58.
Okay. Like some people are saying, since you're from the JDM scene, it's the new Honda.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean these cars, the BMWs, like they do exactly what JDM cars did back in the 90s, and like that was what I always was a fan of. I was always a JDM guy.
Right.
Grew up watching Fast and Furious in the back of my uncle's minivan. That's literally how I got into cars. But when I got older, I had my first car as a WRX.
Okay.
And I wanted to modify that, and I was like, there's really nothing I can do to it without tuning it, voiding the warranty, and I made a mistake of getting a lease. So it was a lease car. I couldn't go crazy tuning it, and there's really nothing I could do to it. But like we were saying before, between like the 45, 50K range all the way up to 100K, there's no JDM cars that are good.
Or all-wheel drive.
Yeah.
Or has a motor that's upgradable as far as turbo-wise.
Exactly.
It'll either be front-wheel drive or naturally aspirated, and at that point, it's really just cosmetics.
Exactly. And so even the like American cars, like the naturally aspirated cars, you can't like do anything to those cars unless you go forced induction. So you're looking at what, a $5,000 supercharger. Then you got to find a shop to do it. Like these cars, you get $300 downpipe and email. Like that's the joke. But it's fast.
Now, I know that you had both the Supra and the M340. Which one was your favorite?
I think the M340 did a lot more things than the Supra. It was a better daily, but the Supra was just like a crazy different car. First, when I had that, it was before I was making content, so it was at a time where the Supra just came out, and everyone loved it. No matter where I went, that got looks. And
you got praises.
Exactly.
It was exotic looking.
It was exotic, yeah. Somebody asked me, like, yo, is that a V10? I'm like, bro, no.
It's a mini
Is that a V10?
Yeah.
It's a
mini
crazy,
Viper.
though. Is that a V10?
Yeah, I was like, does it look like a V10? It's a Toyota. Like,
Yeah, with the sombrero, you know.
Yeah, we also with a watermelon. You know.
Doesn't stop.
Yeah.
The watermelon doesn't click.
We can put a sombrero on top of the watermelon. So, you coming from the JDM, is there any JDM that you can say, you know what, it's above the BMW community?
I think besides the GTR, there's literally no JDM car that can compete with like modern BMWs, because the thing is like, if you think about it from this standpoint, even all JDM cars are all 4 cylinders. They're all 4 cylinders, no 6 cylinders. They don't really make inline 6 engines anymore. And I think that's, to me personally, that's my favorite engine layout. I'll take an inline 6 over a V8 with a turbo any day because I like turbo noises. You know, JDM kid. But other than the GTR, there's really no JDM car that can compete in terms of power, in terms of just being a well-rounded car.
And that's new. Currently on the market, there's
Exactly.
really nothing
And the
in
GTR
comparison.
is almost 20 years old.
Yeah,
So you're looking at 100K for almost a 20-year-old car versus
that's if you can find one.
if you could find one exactly, versus a little under 100K for a fully loaded one of this. But it's a 2023 modern car, modern everything.
Has all the bells and whistles and all the safeties and everything.
Exactly.
Go ahead.
Oh.
Go ahead. I'm listening to you.
Well, since we've been talking about the G80, can you tell us the spec of this?
Yeah, so this, I had to look around for a very long time to find it, but it's a Yauri edition. So 2023 is the 50th year of BMW M. So they made an anniversary edition, which came in 5 colors.
Right.
And this is the color from, I believe, the E92 M3 GTS or the Lime Rock edition. It's the same color, but this one I looked around for over a year to find because I wanted to make sure if I was spending the money on it, I was going to get a good
Get the
spec.
one that you want.
So what's the name of the color?
It's fire orange, and so they all come with one of the 5 colors, and then black bucket seats with like the M stripes on the inside.
What have you done to the car so far since you took ownership of it?
Pretty much just full bolt-ons. It's front mount intakes, which I love. Mid pipes and down pipes from IRL. That's
Okay.
a really good company. I gotta shout them out because they make some really good parts and they actually make it in-house. So really just that. About to get some wheels pretty soon.
Would you like to tell our audience which wheels, or you want to keep it down low? on the
Honestly,
DL?
I'm not gonna lie. I was thinking about doing the Alibaba wheel method. I don't know if you guys have heard of that, but you know, fully forged wheels for $1,200, like you literally can't beat that.
Well, I'm not gonna expose someone here. Yes.
I
He
had a
used to have-
set.
No, he used to have.
I had a set.
Do you still have it?
No, I sold it for more than what I paid.
And where you got it from?
Definitely from China.
Okay.
So it could have been one of my cousins that made it, but they just never let me know.
Okay. Just now, and what do you have now?
Now I have a set of BBS.
Okay. And how much you pay?
That was pretty up there.
Okay. And I know I saw a video of you talking about if it is really worth it of paying all that amount of money, and on BBS when you can get like pretty much the same replica of the wheels, right, for like a lot less money. What do you got to say about that?
So I think a lot of people are scared because they think that the wheel's gonna crack on them in the road. But if I did all my research, and there's plenty of people who make videos on it as well. But all of the wheels that come from China now are pretty much the same stuff that all these manufacturers are giving us. So
They're fully forged from an aluminum block.
Exactly.
What most people were thinking or connecting back in the day was cast wheels. And the porous and the metal, everything was poured and on the press. So that's why it had tendencies not to be as strong as what it is today. But a lot of people still associate, if it's from China, it's garbage.
everything in the U.S. is from China. So it's like, again, everything in the U.S. is garbage, probably. I wouldn't be surprised if half of this stuff that says made in Germany is probably from China. So, but yeah, I mean, you can get fully forged BBS wheels that look exactly like the real thing for $1,200 shipped, and with tariffs, with inflation, like that's really the way everyone's going nowadays because it saves you money.
So on the flip side of that, you're saving money, but now at the expense and sacrifice of, say, that parent company who originally made it, and they're suffering. What do you promote that to?
I think
I don't know how to phrase it.
Yeah.
And I don't want to step on anybody's toes, but if somebody put the time and effort, say, building this car, and they said, hey, we found a cheaper one down the street, but it may not have the name badge and may say BMW, would you still consider that the same caliber of product?
I think for me personally, I'm just an advocate for really like doing what's best for your wallet, honestly. If you can't afford the name brand stuff, like that's okay.
Okay.
But if there's a way to get the same product for cheaper, just go ahead and do that. But on top of that, like BBS wheels, they're not charging like $2,500, $3,000 for a set. It's like eight grand for a set. So
It's 8-10 grand.
Yeah.
Easy. So if you have the money, would you buy it? Or
If money was no object.
would you rather not to buy them and just go to Alibaba?
I mean, I think for me, if I had like $8,000 right now, and you said, "Hey, I have these BBS wheels," I would get like
Single turbo.
4 or 5 sets of BBS of Alibaba wheels.
Okay.
I would also put that money towards something else, because like that's another thing like I do in this car. I do all my own work, because if I'm gonna spend money for somebody else to install a part on my car, that's money I could put into another part in the car. So I could have 2 parts instead of 1 part plus installation.
Now, I know our audience may know you as Ryan, but obviously you have a large social media following. And how did that happen, and where does that stem from?
So actually, originally, a lot of people don't know this, but I went to school originally for media. So I studied media, and I always wanted to be like a newscaster. But once I graduated, it was like really rough to find a job in that field. And so I was just working like a regular job. I think I was working in towards the end of college, like in Foot Locker. I was like reselling sneakers and stuff. And I always loved cars, and I always wanted to get a really nice car. So that's when I got the Supra. I got the M340 after that. But I started just one day, I said, you know what, like, screw it. Like, if I don't start, I'm never going to get there to where I want to be. And I just sucked it up one day, and I started making videos. And I said, if people are going to make fun of me, I don't really care, because at the end of the day, I'm doing something that I want to do. But also, what I tell people is that if nobody watches your videos, then that's fine, because there's nobody making fun of you. So that's just something to think about if anybody wants to make content out there. But I was about to buy, or I wanted to buy an M3, and I had my M340. And I said, you know what, I'm not going to buy it. I'm just going to keep making videos in the M340, because I know a lot of people have this car, B58, a lot of people. It's more relatable to people. So I started just making 1 or 2 videos a week, and it just picked up from there. And within a few months, I did really good on Instagram and YouTube. And I remember I had one video that popped off on Instagram that made me start taking it seriously.
What was the content of that video?
So I bought one of those. Actually, no, I didn't buy it. I asked my mom for it for Christmas. It was a plate cover for Easy Pass to cover my plate, and I was like, yeah, it's a plate frame. And my mom, she's a very nice lady. I love her to death. And she's like, no matter how old you get, I'll always get you a little something for Christmas. So I love that, and I respect that.
But she still support.
Yeah, they still
support
big
that.
supporter. So I was like, yeah, it's a plate frame for my car. It looks good. She gets it, and she's like, why is it so heavy, whatever? And I'm like, oh, let me show you what it does. Go outside, put it on. And it's one of those curtain ones.
Okay.
And she's like, she always like does this. She's like, you know what? I didn't raise you to be like that. I didn't do that, whatever. Like, don't you be using that on the road. And I just did a video on it. And I recorded, and I said, how to avoid tolls and Easy Pass. And it was the video.
And it just blew up.
It blew up. It was like 4 million views. And I got like 8,000 followers off that one video. And I was like, there's no way. Like, how did I get this many followers? And I
That
just
shows
started.
you how much of the public is really cheap, or
Exactly.
they just want to get away with something.
The thing is that it was relatable.
Yeah.
It was like, everyone was like, yo, that's so smart. Easy Pass takes so much money from me. And New York, like, you can't leave any borough without paying almost $20 toll.
So you save a lot of money on Easy Pass.
Exactly.
Pretty much.
I will say, just for legal purposes, I never used it on the road.
Okay.
Maybe I had it on my car, but I did not.
It was for off-road use only.
Off-road use only, exactly.
I got one question there. So I know you were saying before that the Supra handled better than the M340. And I know like almost every New Yorker does this. But once you jump on the Parkway, on the belt or Southern, and then we all know what happened there. Cutting people off, which one handled better?
Cutting people off, the M340, 100%.
So that's
all-wheel drive.
All-wheel drive. The thing is, in the
That's
Supra,
right.
like, you can't cut up in the Supra. There's so much torque, and it's only the rear wheels that you hit a bump, it just cuts traction. And obviously, you're gonna hit a bump every 3 seconds in New York. Like, you can't. There's potholes everywhere.
But you also need to have the skill set with driving a rear-wheel drive car these days.
Exactly, yeah. But I'm one of the people who is against cutting up and against, doing all that crazy stuff on the highway. I think it's just bad for the car community in general.
Yeah.
and I've been a little bit vocal about it on social media, and like I don't have any beef with anybody who does that stuff, but I just don't think it's the right thing for especially younger generation of car enthusiasts getting into this.
What about the takeover? What do you got to say about that?
Takeovers suck. They're horrible. Like there's no benefit to that. You know, there's nothing that somebody can explain to me about a takeover that will make me say, you know what? Nah, like it is kind of fun. Like if you want to go do donuts with your friend in a parking lot behind a building, do it, whatever. That's fine. I do that. I do it in the snow. I do it in the rain, whatever. But taking over an intersection is just crazy. And not to mention half the time, they're all stolen cars anyways.
Yeah.
So all that stuff, the crime, whatever, it's all interconnected and it's wrong.
So, someone say something about the Hellcat, the BMW award, the new Hellcat. What do you got to say about that?
I have heard that.
This is gonna be, we're gonna bring some heat.
Honestly, I tell people, and I make this joke with my friend all the time, like, all respect to everybody, but the YNs have evolved. They are not into Hellcats anymore. They're into BMWs, honestly. And maybe that's only a New York thing. Maybe it's not, but like, that's just what people like now. It's like you see BMWs being taken to takeovers. There was one specific situation I know, it's either a year or two ago. There was a blue G80 M3 that was taken to a takeover, and it got ditched on the side of the road. And I guess it got found, and it was somewhere here in Long Island. And they called the dealer and they said, hey, we found your car, but the seats are gone. There's no seats in it. So the dealer, not wanting to total the car out, put M2 seats in a G80 M3 because it was the cheapest seats they could buy.
They can get their hands on.
Exactly, without totaling out the car. So like it's stuff like that that happens, and with these cars that they are being taken to takeovers. They are being used and abused, and it's like they say like buying a BMW from New York is like dating a girl from Miami.
just either mileage blocker or a venereal
She's
disease.
ran through.
She's ran through it. It's crazy. That's crazy.
Sorry. I know with your experience in such a large social following and the comments, and you traveled across, what's the mindset compared to New York drivers to down south where you normally visit or out west? What do you think about it?
So honestly, I've been all over, and I find that New York specifically in general, first of all, the car community here is like nowhere else. There's nowhere else that has as good of a car community as this, because there are people who with like GT3 RSs that will pull up next to me and say like, yo, this car is fire, like I love it. And I feel so good because I'm like, yo, somebody with a supercar, you know, is complimenting my car. But other places, Florida, down the south, like you have a supercar, you're cocky.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm above,
You're a scumbag.
I'm above you, you know? Like people don't like BMWs down there because they see it as inferior to other brands, you know? And even like Mercedes and Audi, which, I mean, I could talk all day about how both of those brands are inferior to BMW, but like, yeah.
Visit that in a second.
Spice it up. Spice it up. Come on.
In other
Explain.
places, they just, you know, they don't see BMWs like we do because we've had people who like One Sock and other people like that who have brought attention to that brand.
To the chassis. and-
Exactly.
Yeah.
But here in New York, I've seen a G80 modified next to a Huracan STO, and no one gives a shit about the STO. It's just whatever. That's a dime a dozen, and like a G80 is like a supercar.
It's a crazy notion to say that. I mean, outside of New York, people think, you know, anybody with a BMW is a scumbag. But when we're in New York, everybody's a scumbag.
It's like, oh, you're a scumbag? I'm a scumbag too, bro. But yeah, I mean, in terms of like Audi, Mercedes,
Yeah.
I will always say that BMW is the best of the big three for German cars, because I think Mercedes does make good cars, but they only make good cars over, say, 100,000. If I was getting a family car of the big three, I'm getting a Mercedes, like a GLE, whatever, something comfy for the family, or a G-Wagon, whatever. But
No, A-Class.
yeah, I'm not getting a performance car under 100K from Audi or Mercedes, because the only good car that Audi makes, in my opinion, is the RS3. The Dazas, and they don't even have Dazas anymore.
Yeah.
What about the R8?
The R8 is good, but they're discontinued now.
Discontinued.
You know?
RS6,
RS6 is nice as well, but I mean, there's very little things in those cars that bother me. Like, you know, the RS6 has a rev limiter. Like, you can't rev it past 2K RPMs. You're telling me
What?
you can't do it.
You can't bang off the limiter.
Really? Oh, I didn't
Just
know that.
little things like that tell me that like you're not a performance brand. You're just like you're just trying to sell cars.
I feel like out of all three, BMW, it's above them. And I'm sorry, that's just my personal opinion. And the other thing is, like if you go performance wise, for you to make a fast Benz, you have to spend so much money. For BMW, full button, like any BMW owner, right? So downpipe, tune, intakes, that's it. You're pushing 700-800. Can you name a Benz that can push $700-800 with just three upgrade?
Not me. I don't think so. Also, they're hard to work on.
Yes.
Too.
Can you name one? You can't. So and can you also name an Audi that makes 700-800 horsepower, full button?
Well, we don't know. I'm sure.
Well, not. But it's hard though. It's like
Yeah,
like
there's
on
not
top
that
of my
much.
head, I can tell you. I can say this Audi makes 750. Just full button.
There probably are, but then reliability too.
You have to
And
spend so much
also,
money.
You're also starting at 160 plus for an RS6. So most YNs out there can't swing 160, but they can swing maybe 100 and do a little bit.
So you having a nice following on TikTok. What do you have to say to the audience out there?
I always try to get people when people ask me like, how can I start doing content? I always try to help them, and I also, if they have questions about the car, I'm always like in my DMs. I get so many DMs a day, like, hey, what should I do to my car? And
That's the basis from your main content early on in your career. You're helping people and explain what mods and what everything meant in the 340 when you started modding that.
Exactly. So like my thing is if I can get one more person to be a car enthusiast, that's another win for me, another win for my community. Because if you think about it, a couple years ago, like they were talking about banning gas cars and everyone wanting to go electric, and like all the cars that we love almost went extinct. And so if I can get somebody else to support cars or even just make content on cars as well, that's a great thing for me. But I always try to tell people, if you want to make content, just start. Like I wish I started when I had my Supra. I was kind of doing a little bit stuff. If you look on my channel, like very, very back then, there was like a bunch of really bad videos on my Supra, but and I keep it up for inspiration because I want somebody to see how bad I was back then and how, I guess, good I am now.
The
in terms of what I
actual
do.
transition and the hard
Exactly.
work that what paid off.
Exactly. And just, I want people to know that it's possible. And I'm kind of, no, I'm not there yet, but I feel like I'm in the process of making it, And so I can kind of tell people a little bit better as to how to start it because I was just there a year ago. So I just tell people just start,
Well, that's the amazing thing about the BMW community. I mean, yes, we make fun of the downpipe tune, but if the car didn't get that much attention in the aftermarket world, we couldn't achieve certain things that can be achieved now. And your videos actually helped a lot of our viewers bridge that gap of, hey, I can get a BMW and do this and do that to make it do what I want. So that's pretty cool that you made that transition and helping the community grow much larger.
Absolutely. I think I mentioned before we started rolling, I have one of the, I think most popular videos in the B58, like how to build your B58 engine. And it's all very basic stuff. It's like catted downpipes versus catless downpipes. It's, do you need air intakes? Because that's a huge debate if they're worth buying or not, and then you have to build your transmission and just basic stuff like that to help people kind of get into it and learn more about it. Because I know a lot of people are probably scared to ask questions, but
In your opinion, is it worth it to do the air intakes or not?
I think it's worth it for sound, but for air intakes, the modern cars, they're made to run off a certain amount of air, and if you mess with that, your air to fuel ratio is off, and it might be, running a little bit weird. But you don't really need an air intake for modern cars; they're all really efficient enough.
So it's a little controversial, I will say. So and then why brands still making them?
I think because it's one of the cheapest mods you can do to your car, and it makes your car sound better. So, like we all know, an exhaust is way better than a muffler delete, but shops still do muffler deletes because they're $200-300. you know? And it's just something that you can like visually see or hear that kind of looks cool, sounds cool, but at the end of the day, it doesn't really do much for your car.
What's your future plans for this?
For this car, I do actually want to take it to the track. I know a lot of content creators aren't really into the whole like racing and everything, but that's not me.
Drag racing or road racing?
I want to do drag racing.
Okay.
That's another thing. I don't like roll racing. Roll racing is for pussies, and if you roll race, you don't know how to build your car. You seriously don't. Because here's the thing. There's half of the job is building a fast car. Half of the job is making it work.
Right.
You're only building it fast. You're not making it work.
You're just circumventing.
Exactly. If
inevitable.
you can't build your suspension and wheel setup to grip,
Yeah.
you don't know what you're doing. So I want to build this car for drag racing and dig racing, which is the only real racing,
Okay.
not roll racing. Now Texas 2K, that's a different story. You got a 2,000 horsepower car. You're not gripping all-wheel drive.
No.
You know, but you're telling me you got a 500 horsepower car and you can't grip, bro? Go to Alibaba and get some wheels, like, you know. So I want to take this to the drag strip. I want to dig race it, and I want to make it fast. But I do want to probably keep it stock turbos, maybe hybrids, because I still want it to handle good.
So, how many horsepower you gotta have to not to be a pussy?
I mean, you just got to be out there. You just got to be out there. You know, even if you know that your car can't really grip, the fact that you're willing to take a race and say like, "Hey, I'm willing to try,"
Right.
that makes me have more of your respect. You know.
So yeah, but like how much? Over 1,000?
No,
not
not
to be a
really.
pussy?
But like, the thing is like, if I'm racing somebody with 500 horsepower,
Right.
and they're like, "Oh, but rolls only because you know I can't grip," I'm like, "Well, so go back to your garage and build your car because you obviously didn't finish. Like, you know, put some tires on it, do something, you know." But I seriously think a lot of these guys who are scared to race from digs, like, bro, what are you doing?
So what are you doing at our season opener? Drag or roll?
Me? Oh, my slow X3 is not gonna make it.
Oh jeez, oh jeez. We all know
But
that.
it will make it there because I don't have to push it there or carry multiple fire extinguishers, unlike your car.
You know, let's not get into that. But
Oh, sorry.
you know, we know we're dropping that car next January, and she's gonna start
We're
getting
dropping
built
it off at the junkyard? I don't understand.
somewhere. But I know
Somewhere?
she's gonna. Yeah. So I can't wait for that. Are you doing roll?
I can do both. When I'm all set, you'll
Okay.
see.
Okay.
But referring back to what we said earlier about like the wheels and knockoff, since you have ultimate goals for drag racing this, are you willing to put Chinese turbos on that haven't been proven?
Chinese turbos? I don't know because
Well, wait. You just said a couple minutes ago that, hey, there's nothing wrong with going with wheels that are for the pocket, you know, and help attain other parts in the car. Why not turbos?
So the thing with the wheels is that the wheels are DOT certified for the US. So I know
As they say.
As they say, you're right. But I know that they're not really going to break, and if they do, I'm only out $1,000. But for a turbo that goes,
$1,000 if the car was sitting there and all of a sudden it disintegrated. But you're
That's
driving at 70 miles an hour on the highway, and next thing you know, you hit like a pebble, and then all of a sudden you see like a spoke fly past you. As far as turbos, because what's preventative of somebody saying, "Hey, I got a set of VTT or pure turbos," but they're really just cast from a replica, but you can't tell.
for me, I think what throws me off about the turbos is that, see, if I had a cheaper car, I would. But the thing is, with this car, I mean, you break something, it's just way more expensive. So if it was building like a cheap budget build, sure, eBay turbo all day, Chinese turbo all day, you know? I mean, Civics with eBay turbos are making 600 horsepower and they're doing great. But for a car like this expensive, for a moving part like that, that's that important, I would think I would be a little bit standoffish about, you know, Alibaba turbos.
Okay.
Would you have used Alibaba turbos on your Supra or your M340?
Would I?
Yeah.
But I don't know, honestly. I mean, it is a cheaper car, but I don't know. I still think it's a moving part. That's what throws me off about it, you know?
Okay.
And you don't prime the turbo right, anything could go wrong.
Yeah. And then plus the tuner, and well, that's more in the details of it all.
Yeah.
All right. As far as the transition moving on forward, besides your car, but your content, what's your ultimate goal?
I think for me and for my ultimate goal, and really for everybody who makes content, I think it's really to be one, financial freedom, to really be able to say I have my own business basically. Because the one thing a lot of people don't know is that everything I put on this car, I can technically write it off. I can technically do all the business stuff that regular business does. But I do also want to dabble in other cars. Even though I'm not the big of a JDM guy anymore, I do want to own a JDM car. I do want to own an American car. You know, I have friends with other.
You're a true car guy.
Exactly. You know, I'm not just a BMW guy, mostly a BMW guy, and that's going to be my favorite brand forever. But if I have a 3-car garage for the rest of my life,
What would be your top 3?
I think if I was picking one from every brand, I think I would obviously have this for a German or Euro car. For American cars, it was hard, but my friend has really gotten me into a Camaro ZL1.
Okay.
It's just so, they sound so good and they look the best out of any muscle car. Or maybe a C7 Z06.
Even better than a Corvette.
I think a Camaro looks a little better than a Corvette because it looks a little
Yeah,
meaner.
that Mike. Okay.
I think personally, I mean, on my TikTok, I'm very vocal about Corvette guys. I have friends who own Corvettes, but Corvette owners in general just bother me. They're boomers and they're just like old dudes, like, you know, like, oh, my car is made on
That's
Tuesday.
crazy,
It's
bro.
a
I
one
can't
of one.
wait
Like,
to-
I can't wait to have this interview out.
It
It's gonna
literally-
be crazy.
the Corvette owners are probably the most insufferable car owners there are out there. Like,
Wow. Okay.
they're just annoying. You know, I don't know what's worse, like them or Hellcat owners, but
No Mustangs.
Mustang owners are weird. No one cares about them. Mustangs are
that
fast,
Was yeah.
but
That was the 2010s.
yeah, that's old news, you know.
Okay.
But if I was getting an American car, it'd be a ZL1 or like a single cab F150. Those are cool.
So, after this, are you going supercar? Are you going Porsche? Because I know any BMW owner out there, after a BMW, it's Porsche.
The only car I really want is a Turbo S, but for me and for content, I think I wanted to kind of set a rule for myself and say no supercars because I want to be as relatable as I can be. I know there's a lot of people who want cheaper cars, and I always said to myself, if I had $500,000, $500K to spend on a car, I'm getting $500,000 cars, then one supercar, because I can have 5 cars, make content on all 5 cars, but also just be more relatable to people, you know?
I remember you told us before we started filming that your father was a big BMW guy and classics like a 2002 or maybe a E39 or is this something that you also consider?
Honestly, yeah, I do want to own an older car, older BMW, especially one day. So I mean, my dad was like in and out of my life for pretty much my whole life. But he ended up passing away a couple years ago, and I remember my mom told me one day, you and your brother, because I actually have a brother. He's also a BMW guy. funny
Oh,
enough.
is he?
Yeah, but she's like, you and your brother, just like your dad. And I was like, what do you mean? She's like, usually when they say that, it's not a good thing.
Yeah.
My mom say that, but she was like, yeah, like he had all these BMWs. He'd buy a car, sell it, and I just started showing her random pictures of BMWs. I said, did he have this car? And she's like, yeah, I have pictures, but I just can't find them. And he had, I mean, according to my mom, like an 850
CI.
yeah, the old one. He had a E36 M3 as well, maybe E46 M3. But I think I really want to own an E46. Those cars are just so perfect. They do everything well. Not the most reliable, but like when they work, they're great
They
cars.
work, yeah.
E46 over E36?
I think I pick an E46 over. If you're talking about what an M3 is, E46 is the best M3. There's no other better M3.
Even better than the E-chassis? Because apparently the E92 are considered one of the best chassis made by BMW. But do you think E46 is even better than the E-chassis?
I think so because the E46, it's an inline 6, so that's traditionally what an M3 is. They're also lighter, and they handle better. They do everything better.
But I don't see any E46 out there making the power that E36 making.
That is true. I can't agree with that. But I think if I was picking a driver's car, I think I would still pick an E46.
But like, So driving car, you mean like to the track or stuff like that? Because like like I drive the E36 that is here, a single turbo. You can't beat that sound. You can't beat that car. S52 all day. S52, E36 for me over E46. I have heard so many people saying E46 is better. In my experience, I will take E46 all day. E36. E46 sound terrible. I haven't heard one E46 sounding good.
I could definitely agree with that. I think if you were going to modify it as well, I think E36 is definitely better.
Thank you.
E46, if
We
I was
agree
going
in
to keep
some.
it stock, you want to,
Bro, they just sound shitty. They just sound bad. Like really, like that's one car
that's a clip right there.
That's one car that I think I wouldn't buy. It's the E46.
46.
E92 and E90, they're good as well, but they're just
Sound
so-
beautiful.
Yeah, they sound amazing, but you can't do much to them. So if
Yeah,
you
no,
are a
it's-
modifying guy, you can't really do much to them.
Unless you put a blower on it.
Yeah, you can, but it's probably gonna blow up.
I mean, you gotta do the rods. It's the first
Yeah,
thing
I
that you
know.
gotta do. It's $4,000 or $5,000, I think. Then to make them fast, you gotta do a supercharger, which is $15,000, and then you're only gonna be pushing 600, 650 at the most.
Yeah, hopefully.
So at that point, if you're gonna put $15,000, just put on a G, you're gonna be making 800 plus horsepower. So
Exactly.
It's like,
For 10 grand more, you get a cheap F82 M4.
Yeah.
yeah,
can handle
it's
better
just
than
like
Or you can get an M340.
Yeah, or M340, downpipe tune, faster than a Lamborghini SVJ.
is it?
No, but that's what people think.
You're definitely not beating a SVJ with a full button M340.
Well, actually, there was, I think, an SV or an SVJ racing an M440. There's like a famous video, M440, or it was a 440i F series. Smoked it.
Smoked it.
Smoked it. It's like a famous video.
Yeah, but the M440 is a B58.
You guys out there watching, link us that video if you know what he's talking about.
I'll send it to you guys.
Yeah.
It's a good video.
So after this, no supercar.
I think no supercar. I want to get another sports car, build my page probably just to appeal to more people, because there are people who like other brands, for different reasons, and that's okay,
Except for the Mercedes and Audi
Except
guys?
for Mercedes. I don't think I would buy an Audi over a Mercedes personally.
Okay.
But it would have to be like an RS3,
Why
5
is it
cylinders.
though? Like, so you think like Mercedes is just like
Mercedes is a brand for luxury. If you want a luxury car, they do that good. But they don't do motorsport good anymore unless you're talking about like super high-end, like Nürburgring track cars,
honestly, you get the GT. What is it? GT.
The AMG GTR, that's a great
Yes,
car.
AMG GTR.
Yeah,
Yeah, $500,000.
but
That's crazy.
that's a supercar,
Yeah.
But other than like their sports cars, like I would take maybe an E63S over an M5. It would be hard for me to pick that.
A wagon.
Wait.
would
Say
be
that
hard.
one more time. You will pick a E63S over an M5.
I don't know if I would, but I would consider it. See, if I was picking M3 or C63, I wouldn't even consider C63. I just go straight for the M3. But with the M5 versus the E63S, it would have me thinking. I was like, maybe I should take a look at this car, because those cars are so luxurious.
So what do you got? What do you got against the M5? Though it sounds like you have something
Nothing,
against.
no. I honestly, if I was, I think I would end up picking the M5, but I'm just saying I would consider the E63 if I was in that, between those two cars. M5 honestly is one of the most like slept on cars right now still,
Yeah.
because people are so concerned about like, oh my God, the V8's gonna blow up. I'm like,
Or the coolant's going to
yeah, the
leak into it.
coolant, like it's really not hard. Just do your research and move it. That's it. But yeah.
Anything else?
No, I'm good. Go ahead.
As far as your overall consensus to our audience, and they want to build their social status, is it really chasing clout, or we really want to do it for information to make the car community better? What are your thoughts on something like that?
I think I think you do have to do a little bit of both. Unfortunately, you do have to chase clout to an extent, because if you just do videos that you want, you're going to build a little bit of a following, but you're never going to crack into like the really big, like follower counts.
A larger and not near demographic audience, basically.
Exactly. If there's one piece of advice I tell people is that like 95% of your audience is going to come from 5% of your videos. So there's gonna be 5% of your videos that really pop off, and those are trendy videos where you follow trends. I know dash cam videos are really good. Some of my best videos are dash cam videos. I have a video of me racing my M340.
Off-road.
Nah, well, yeah, off-road. Yeah, you're right. But with my girl and her family in the car.
Oh,
I think I saw that video.
I remember seeing that.
That was one of my best videos. But you have to do a mix of like building your car and then like viral content. You know, you can't just do one or the other. Because you do only viral content, you're gonna seem fake, and you only do building your cars, you're just never gonna grow your audience. So do a little bit of both, throw something at the wall, see what sticks, and you'll always find your audience.
So BVTA, Supra, M340, G80. Which one would you pick all day?
100% G80. It's literally like the perfect, most well-rounded car, and I think a lot of people give BMW like shit for everyone having them, but I always explain to people this way. The reason everybody has a BMW is because if you think about it like this, most people live in a major city. Maybe you live in an apartment, you know, it's expensive. You only have one parking spot, if that. Maybe even park in the street. There's no other car that can do as much as BMWs do, and especially as the M3 does. But it's 4 doors. This thing is 700 horsepower. You can race it. It handles good. You know, you can't do that with a Corvette, an American car. You can't do that with a G80 M car. But the M3 is literally everything the Supra and M340 was, but just way better.
So, German car over muscle car.
All day. I don't think I would ever buy an American car over a German car again. They're harder to do on, it's harder to do on an American car what you can do on these with $1,000.
And it's basically just a tune. So recently, speaking of tunes, and you saw that whole femto keys ideal, what are your thoughts about that?
So keys is really overcharging for what they're doing. I don't think that from the standpoint of, I think it's wrong to the community for charging $2,000 just to unlock your ECU. But I do understand that, you know, when it comes to modifying cars nowadays, it's dangerous. The EPA is coming after everybody. So they did probably have to pay some other people to get that software. But either way, your best bet is still to go with femto, still unlock it through them. And soon enough, there's going to be another thing that's going to come out cheaper.
Well, like what's happening, if keys didn't really come out with their unlock, the world right now is catching on fire because now you have all these other companies that can say, we could do it for less expensive. And then even femto came out and they're kind of vague about it. But now you can do OBD unlock. So they had the tech, but they're still milking everybody who still had a BMW and had to ship it halfway across the world.
Aren't femto only charge like 1,700, something like that? But I think you gotta pay for the shipping and everything.
Shipping.
You can do it yourself
Yeah.
with an S58 for under $1,200. If you send it out yourself and you use like a third-party shipping company, but you still have to go through DHL.
Yeah, you still have to use DHL.
Yeah, you can do it for under $1,200, which a lot of people don't know.
But isn't that like risking it though?
You're not risking it.
Like, you know, what if your ECU get lost?
So I put an AirTag in there, and I was able to track it every step of the way. And so if it did get lost, I could just call DHL and say, hey, like, I see my package is misplaced. I know where it is because I have an AirTag in there, and they'll find it for you.
That's really smart.
Cool.
So your ECU is unlocked.
Yeah, my ECU's unlocked right now. I'm gonna go custom tune pretty soon, get some better tires, wheels, because I'm not roll racing, and we're gonna, you know, I want to prove that I'm more than just a content creator, that I also can race and put some power down. Exactly.
All right.
Not roll racing.
Not roll racing.
Why is that? Because roll racing is for?
Roll racing is for pussies. I'm also not gonna be like these guys that pull out a 30-foot paper of stipulations for their race. Say like, hey, yeah, we can race, but you have to sign my 30-page contract as to all my rules and regulations, you know, which everyone does now. But if I'm gonna race you, whether it be on the
I
track,
mean,
or
to
the
a
street,
certain degree, the YNs are getting sophisticated now. They're introducing
Yeah.
contracts. It's pretty cool.
contracts, yeah, respect though, But if I'm gonna race somebody, whether it be track or street, like I'm just gonna do it because I want to have fun.
So what about what do you got to say about the street racing though? Is it like dying in New York, or you think it's not like? Because I actually see like it has come like a lot down.
I think it definitely has come down. I think a lot of people, especially after one stock passed, a lot of people just stopped doing it. They stopped coming out. But also, it's like, he was the most famous guy doing it out here. And so once he was gone, it's like a lot of people lost passion for it. But I think it's going to come back sooner or later, whether it be in New York City, Long Island, wherever it's going to be, it's going to come back, and hopefully there's going to be more people out with different cars. But also the thing is, like, the secret's out on BMWs. Like, they're fast. Everyone knows that now.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Also, do we need a truck in Long Island?
Yeah, we do. 100%. They need a track in Long Island because if they keep complaining about people racing on the street, we're going to keep doing it. There's nowhere else to go. We're not driving, was it 3-4 hours?
3.5 hours.
Yeah, almost 4 hours to the closest track, just to race. There's that in Calverton, like, airstrip collecting dust. There's nothing there. I know it's expensive to redevelop that land, but somebody's got to do it.
But I feel like like if they do fix all that, it will help so much to New Yorkers not to be doing what people are doing out there. Like for example, like myself, we would invest into like using the venue, because we've been looking to get a venue in New York with Bimmer United, but unfortunately, there is no like good venue to invest. Not especially like if we are known for racing, on the community. So it's like I really hope that this video gets to someone out there, and that they invest some. And, there are people out there that they will definitely invest on your venue to support their business. So I really hope that will definitely help a lot of people out there, because I see people crashing left and right. People are crashing these cars like crazy, and that's why the BMW community is so hot in New York. If you have a cop behind you, do you think you're gonna get pulled over?
100%.
It's
I'm
automatic.
a target on my back, but yeah, there's a lot of people, young kids especially, getting their hands on these things. I mean, I know from doing content, internet money is very big nowadays. Like, any 18-year-old can make $1,000 a month and finance one of these things. Like, when I was 18 years old, I was driving my mom's Honda Pilot. That was the fastest car I ever drove when I was 18. And now 18-year-olds have G80s. Like, that's why they're crashing. They're just inexperienced,
Well, I just want to say thank you so much, Ryan, for taking the time to come here today. And, not sure what do you want to say to your audience. And
Any final thoughts, whether it's content or you're getting the G80 as a YN?
I mean, beside the road racing thing.
If you want to do content, definitely the only one thing I can say is just start. If the sooner you start, the sooner you can get big. But if you don't believe in yourself, then no one will ever believe in you. If you don't take yourself seriously, no one will take you seriously. So
You just got to put it out there.
exactly, just do it, just start it, and you will. If you are consistent enough, you will succeed one day.
Ryan, could you tell our audience just where to DM you and your socials?
Yeah, so on Instagram and TikTok, it's S58NY_.
Okay.
And on YouTube, it's Gears and Gains.
Cool.
Huge shout out to my guy here. Shout out to the media team, League Gallery, Panda Vice. Shout out to Triple C
For allowing us to film and take over their spot on a Sunday evening.
Thank you guys. Like, comments, share, subscribe, and last but not least, if you comment watermelon. Big outside. Chesty. Where's your chesty?